Dear friends, warm welcome to each one of you. And today, another beautiful Sajjan Sangatya we are going to have. We are going to interact. We are going to know something very, very interesting today. It's something which everyone needs to know. The topic for today is you are not your shadow. That's the topic that I have picked up because when I was going through the scriptures, one of the Upanishads, Mundaka Upanishad, this Upanishad really inspired me a lot. And the essence of this Upanishad is you are not who you think you are. You just identify your shadow. Your body is a shadow. Your mind is a shadow. Your emotional reality that you go through in this physical plane is also a shadow. But this shadow has no existence. What is truth is beyond this shadow, and what is real and what is unreal need to be known. That's what Mundaka Upanishad was talking about. To know that knowledge, wisdom, which makes us realize who we truly are, then all these fears, our shadow carries all those emotions that we suppress in our shadow self, all that we can deal with them. So we realize at a one point of our life that this shadow is not really the truth. We are much more than this shadow. Our truth is something different. So, dear friends, today with us, masters, two beautiful masters I'm going to introduce to you. They are very dear friends of us, Dr. Lakshmi, myself, and entire QLU Sangha. So these are really wonderful spiritual architects. I invite now to this space Shobha and Mahesh. Shobha and Mahesh, most welcome to today's this live streaming session. So it's wonderful to have you with us. And if you know about them, I must introduce a few words from me. I met them many years back, and when I met Shobha and Mahesh, I felt a kind of instant connection with them. I feel that I know them before. Like my soul has felt that I know the souls of Mahesh and Shobha. And the same case with Dr. Lakshmi. We both felt so deeply connected with both of you. When you came to QLU land, that time, one day we had a beautiful conversation, and that point of time about the Sahasrara pyramid, the whole idea of Sahasrara pyramid, how it emerged. And immediately Shobha's face was lit with 1,000 lamps, as if she's glowing with when she heard about Sahasrara pyramid. Immediately she felt so happy, and you must hear all both of them, and both are very unique in their field, architecture field. They're experts, and not only they're experts in the architecture field but also spirituality. And I consider Shobha as a vision, and Mahesh as the force behind her. He is the very practical, very grounding master who really looks at everything in a how to bring the vision into physical reality. He's the most practical, and does not mean that Shobha is impractical. Shobha is always connected to the visions. She has a brilliant third eye which is open, So, dear friends, let us welcome them and let's hear from them. Shobha and Mahesh, please speak about yourselves, how you have come across the spiritual path, and what did you find, because spiritual path is something very something different than our material path, like whatever the books that we read or schools that we have attended is something different, right? So can you please share your experiences?
Good evening, sir, once
Good
again.
evening, good evening, Shobha.
And firstly, thank you very much for accommodating us in the Sangha. It's really a privilege, sir. And first, I'll just speak about my spiritual experience. So there were two events in my life which led me to go inward. When I was around 16, 17 years of age, one was the demise of my brother when he was breathing his last breaths in a hospital. He told my father that there are two people who have come to receive me. They have come to take me along with them. And that was one event which left a question mark in my mind. Who are those people? Why have they come? And how is it he can see them and I can't see them? That was one event. And the other one was I was reading a book, Thus Spake Vivekananda. And in that book, I would understand about the patriotism, what Vivekananda ji has written. But I could not understand when he spoke about the meditation part in that book. And I was thinking, what is this meditation? I should go and, I should know about it. And when I joined architecture, I think in the second or third semester, I went to one master there and told him that I want to learn meditation. And he just taught us the meditation. Then I told, oh, this is meditation. Then I don't want so many thoughts coming into my mind at that time. This is meditation. Then no, I don't want this. But when I look back now, there was always some kind of mindfulness practice which used to happen. I was aware of what I talk. There was someone which was watching within me, about my conduct, my deeds, and all. And the major shift happened in the year 2010-11, when we were good with the practice, architecture practice. I think I was around 30 years at that time. And wonderful in-laws, loving parents, and loving husband. But still, there was something in me, which was not stable. So one fine morning, I just got up and I said, "No, I'm not going to office." And then everyone thought that maybe I need a break. I have been working very hard. And I took a break and I just started reading Osho. And for many days, I didn't go to office, many months. I was just reading Osho and I read more than 100 books of Osho. And then I thought, okay, I should go and do some practical thing about myself. Then I attended a workshop in Pyramid Valley and on mindfulness. And then during that workshop, there was some test done on your brain waves. And all the waves were reading very straight, like always same and very straight. And then the facilitator gave an input that there may be two reasons for this. One is maybe you have practiced, there's a lot of sadhana you have done, or the other, maybe you have a chronic trauma. And I could not relate to the first one because I have not done any sadhana. And I thought, okay, is it a trauma? Then what is trauma? I should find it out. I went to Dr. GK and he told me that traumatized people are not like you. So just go and explore yourself. Don't waste your time. And first time I told him, I want to travel back in time and see who am, I mean, how I have come here, why I have come here. And he told me, if you want to travel back in time, the only person who can help you is Dr. Newton. And that is how I came to QLU, and the journey began there. And about first workshop, breath work has really transformed me a lot. That is where I had the courage to open door to myself, where I have locked myself. And breath work really cleanses us at the cellular level. It is such an intense workshop. I practiced it for 40 days, and then there was no looking back. After that, I went to PLR, and in PLR workshop, so amazing. I just learned about my family members. I mean, and also like the Sangha members, why I get connected to Dr. Newton and Dr. Lakshmi. And why is that my heart is always there? Why I'm not able to come out from there? Is it my obsession? What is that holding me there? And all Sangha also, I feel like I have lived with them. And in PLR, I saw a life where I was a Tibetan monk, and there I saw presence of Dr. Newton. And I really realized how I'm connected with that. And even I got answers. I always had in my mind that why you should make a biological child. And that was a question. My mother also tells that since childhood I would ask her also why you should have a biological child. And PLR helped me to understand that, why I had that question. And I thank Mahesh also for he supported me to live my life the way I wanted it to be. And family constellation was the next workshop which I attended. And family constellation has really, it is a great healing workshop. It is, I think it's must for all of us to do, like in the physical plane, family is a reality. And it really helps us to bond well and know our patterns. And it's amazing family constellation. And then after LBL, there is a major shift in me. I really don't have to try hard to learn anything. I don't know how things happen. I just have to tune in, make intent that I want to do this. And I don't know how my mind works. Even my mom is amazed with that. And Mahesh is also amazed with that. What has happened to you? How are you able to do these things? But it's really amazing. I got to know my life purpose. And from then on, it's no looking back. And the things are same and everything is same. But the reaction mode in me is turned off, and the response mode in me is turned on. So now to me life is music, it's a dance. And it's really fun for me. Every day is a celebration, and I don't need any reason to be or to not to be. So it's really fun. And thank you very much, sir. And your compassion has really transformed me. And to Lakshmi ma'am, her healing hugs, and the light, the inspiration in her eyes, it's, I mean, I don't know how to express it, but it has really transformed me a lot, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
That's amazing to hear all your experiences, Shobha. There are many more experiences, how you journeyed step by step, because the seeds of your transformation were there right in your childhood when you were 16-year-old. That time when your brother was passed away, and then that moment when what he shared with you, what he shared with your father, your curiosity, your quest began that time. There are seeds of transformation always we have. We want to know the what is beyond, what is unknown, because unknown always it always makes us know about it. It wants to us to investigate into that unknown. and you are very courageous one. Really, with your courage, you journeyed so wonderfully, Shobha. And I thank you once again for sharing your experience. And thank you. I request Mahesh, please share your experience in your life, because sometimes in many ways we learn. Sometimes we learn from wife also. We learn from directly life, we learn from an observer. Sometimes it's a very different. And how meditation came into your life, and how you learn what you learned from your life. Mahesh, please share your experiences and insights with all of us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, and thank you, Lakshmi ma'am, and the whole QLU Sangha for giving me this opportunity to share my views with you, and I'm blessed to share these things, sir. Sir, I'm very much eager to. I'm from last 30 to 40 days. I'm hearing your continue. I'm hearing the session of you from 5 to 7 daily, sir. And regarding this topic, shadow, I'm very much curious to hear this, sir. About my journey in towards meditation and spirituality is less compared to Shobha, sir. Uh, when I was in, I think around fifth or sixth standard, my father used to get Osho's audio cassettes at that time. So I used to hear them. I was not understanding those things, but his voice was very mesmerizing, sir. So I used to hear him. So later on in college days, I did some meditation with few of my friends and all those things. But when we went to Pyramid Valley, then actual what is meditation? Earlier, that was like for me, it was like in concentration. I felt like doing meditation is a concentration. So then I turned into meditation as knowing within. Thank you for that, sir. And then we came to QLU for the profession for me. But again, I felt no, this place is something different, and we have to give our best here, and we are trying our best to give the best, sir, there. And what I felt is, if, meditating is many of the experience I heard, sir. It is not like the person who has suffered a lot, or who is suffering, or who has some ill health. It is not only for them. A person, he or she, or anybody uh, who's who feels perfect in his life and he thinks that I'm okay, then why do I do it? But I feel, for example, if a cricketer is doing in a one day match, is making a century, but after a meditation he can do a double century. So I feel many of them should not take in that way. When I have a problem, then only I'll come to meditation or to meditate. So it will help and improve your life double, triple, or n number of folds. It depends on you or the person who is doing it, with what intensity and what effort you do it. You can multiply into n number of folds. Your life. Outside the circle. Yeah, and as I told, sir, till college level and all those things, I was seeing the meditation and all those things standing outside the circle or outside a circle, and she is the one who pulled me within the circle, and she pulled me towards meditation and spirituality, and thank you for that, sir. And, I thank all of them for giving me a wonderful opportunity to share my views with you, sir. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Always Stree Shakti, Mahila Shakti works at home. A woman transforms, she will transform the whole family. One woman is equivalent to almost like all the hundreds of family members. She will immediately will share about meditation, what she practiced and she learned. And it's wonderful to hear your views and your life experiences, Mahesh. And because you both have given to QLU, Sangha, QLU, to the world also. Through QLU, the whole world receives this, your beautiful offerings, like through architectural field. You are really such beautiful beings, creative beings. I say you have such creativity in you, and how you really see different possibilities and bringing sacred geometry into the physical plane. That's your expertise. That's what I feel always. And at a later point, we are going to see the our QLU Sahasrara pyramid walkthrough that you both made. You both prepared this walkthrough most beautifully, and the entire design of it, the Sahasrara pyramid, we're going to witness, watch all of us together. And I'm going to come back to you a little bit after some time again. Meanwhile, so dear friends, today it's our honor to meet these two wonderful masters, and they're very humble. They're very really grown to such great heights. They're highly matured consciousness levels, highly matured. So you are not your shadow. That's the really the topic which interests everyone. How do we know that we are not our shadows, but shadow follows us wherever we go? We don't want the shadow to follow us, but shadow will follow us. Whenever there is sunlight, there is shadow. And brighter the sun, and the better is the shadow. Shadow will be much intense and deep. So we can't ignore the shadow. Shadow always follows us. That is the rule of the game in the physical realm. In a three-dimensional plane, we are going to, everyone will have the shadow, but we can know the grander or higher truth that we are not only the shadow, we are much beyond the shadow, that we are consciousness. The consciousness is inclusive. The shadow is part of that consciousness. But mostly what happens is we are so much focused on our shadow. Shadow means, dear friends, I must explain to you, define it, what it is. The shadow is the side of your personality that contains all parts of yourself that you don't want to admit to having. For example, we don't like the angry side of us. We don't like fearful side of us. We don't like some vulnerable side of us. Mostly in the current society, many of us, we disown, we reject our feeling side, even our vulnerable side of us, because it won't support the survival consciousness of us. To survive in the world, we need to suppress certain aspects in us. So whatever that we suppress in us, whatever we push it away from us, certain parts of our own self, that becomes our shadow. Our fear, our anger, and all the human emotions that we go through here. And also the feeling is so important in life. The heart center generally is suppressed, because we develop the logic. Logic makes you survive in a better way. Your feeling makes you more vulnerable. That's why we disown that, even creative side of us. Instead, we go into what is called as a very robotic way of doing things, routine stuff, because we are made like that in our society. If you are doing good in your tasks in a routine way, whatever is prescribed method, you go accordingly. You don't even know that there are different possibilities exist. There's a scope for a better solution or a better alternative. We don't even venture into it because our creative side we suppress. It's not supporting us. Most of the times, our creative side is completely given up, because creativity is never encouraged in the society culturally, and even in every country. Creativity means we don't get much out of the creativity. That's what is the belief that we carry. So the shadow contains all these aspects which we given up, which we push it away, which we disown, repress and suppress. So the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. This is what this great master Carl Gustav Jung, a psychologist. He is not just only a conventional psychologist, he is a spiritual psychologist. I call him as a spiritual psychologist. He's my really a very wonderful inspiration for me. When I was a student of medical college, that time I used to wonder about some of the books that I used to read, Carl Gustav Jung's books, because always is a mystical. Whatever he says is generally what is not shared or not told by conventionally in society. Completely, he says that you need to understand your shadow, because the shadow follows you. Unless you understand your shadow, you cannot reach to beyond shadow. Unless you own your own shadow, you will not be able to heal it. You will not be able to integrate with your personality, within your soul. That's what I understood from Carl Gustav Jung when he talked about this. Because I've been practitioner of this art and science, past life regression therapy, and also inner child regression therapy, life between life regression therapy. My intention is always to embrace the darker elements which we give up. There's so much of our energy which is locked up inside us in the shadow. To try to suppress it inside our psyche, we lose a precious energy of us. We need to completely now bring it up and release that energy so that you have access to all that energy, and that shadow will not anymore trouble you after you own it. I tell you one story that I read from this autobiography of Milarepa, the Tibetan master Milarepa. He is a great master. In one single lifetime, he evolved in leaps and bounds as a spiritual being. He reached to highest levels of enlightenment. So, in the initial stages of his practice, his guru, his teacher told Milarepa, you need to do sincere meditation practice, and you should not be distracted by the world. And immediately Milarepa thought, I will now go to Himalayas. He found a Himalayan cave. There, inside the cave, when he entered, he found there are some kind of demons there, means astral, lower astral beings were existing. So every day they used to be so much angry on him because he came all of a sudden and meditating there. They did not like that. So initially he was angry at them. No, he used to say, go away, I push you away, I throw you out with my energy. And always he was trying to do that, and they were not going. And one day in meditation, it came to him that his master Naropa told him that you should not fight with darkness. Any kind of dark shadows things, don't fight. Befriend them. Make friendship with them. Then the very next day onwards, he started meeting all these astral entities and telling them, oh, my friends, how are you? and I'm glad that you are also sharing this space with me. You have allowed me to stay with you. And they felt so happy. 50% of them gone already. They left the cave. They made peace. And every day his job was, he was doing, he's making friendship with them. He said, wow, you are such beautiful beings. He embraced, he was showering unconditional love. And a fine day, even the last demon, which was full of anger, even that also completely left. It went away. So it's a true story that happened in the life of Milarepa, but there is an inner meaning that we can take when we apply it for our own shadow side, that we suppress certain parts, certain aspects, certain things. We bury them in our subconscious. We try to hide it, and we want to throw it away, but it is not possible. It's part of you. We need to own it. We have to befriend it, and then one day it all leaves. That shadow will be totally integrated in your old self. So this is another beautiful verse from Carl Gustav Jung. He said, in every story, there is a hero and a villain. Every story, any movie that you watch, there is a villain and there is a hero. And only hero in a movie, it will not be super buster, and it will not be good. Without a villain character, only hero, only those nice guys in the movie, it will not be interesting. The movie will not be good. So, but in your story, both villain and hero exists in you. That's why when I say that all the Puranas, the 18 Puranas that we have in India, all Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Bhagavatam, to Skanda Purana, all Puranas, Devi Purana, all the Puranas, they have this beautiful meaning, an inner meaning, which is talking about always there is a villain character, there is a Rakshas, and Vishnu, Lord Vishnu takes an avatar. He comes as an avatar here, and he will be waging a war against that villain character, like Lord Rama has fought with Ravana. And whereas Hiranyakashpa, Narsimhavatar, Hiranyakashpa was killed. In the same way, almost in the Puranas, always this is the mention about the villain character and the hero character. But I consider that these two aspects are existing in us. But the villain might be a very small villain in us. The hero part, the heroic part is more, we show it in the outer world, but we suppress the, what is called as, we label the villain as a bad and ugly part of us, and we suppress it inside us. But it constantly comes out. Whatever we bury and suppress, it comes back to us. It's so important. We have to embrace all the parts of us, and that's how there is a greater healing in us that happens, a greater integration happens, and greater wholeness that comes into us. So in one of the Upanishads, one Shanti Mantra, I really like this mantra. When the ancient rishis heard this mantra, they uttered it. They also immediately said this mantra. It brings peace in everyone, because it is about something about the wholeness that we all carry. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. That means we are already whole beings. Though when we are entering into this physical dimension, earth plane, we are taking this personality, the human personality. We have the body, we have this mind, and We have an entire persona which is developed around us. Persona in Latin and Greek, which means mask. We have to have a persona around us, a mask around us, which makes us live here the life comfortably in the physical realm. But we are already whole and complete beings. In the three-dimensional plane, our personality feels that I am lacking in something. I am not enlightened. I am not good enough. I am not divine enough. I am not holy enough. I am impure. Many thoughts that we are, villains, and we are incomplete, we are bad guys. All these concepts will come to us because that's what is the three-dimensional life challenge. It's a great challenging life to be born in this physical dimension. So, but the truth remains the truth. The truth is you are Purnam. This is Upanishad's Vakya. Upanishads only utters the truth only. It's absolute truth. We can't delete, edit, you can't modify the truth. It is the truth for everyone, irrespective of whatever you are in this life. Whether you are a meditator or non-meditator, does not matter. You are whole and complete. We have come from the Purnam, fullness, and from the fullness you take away a little portion of the fullness, still it remains full. If you add to the fullness some part of it, extra things, it will not become more. It is still full. Full remains the full, irrespective of anything. It is the grandest truth, absolutest truth that I have found through the Upanishads, dear friends. In meditation, it's a beautiful journey, an inner journey. In this journey, first, as a hero, we go into our own inner landscapes to do the trekking inside us. We have big mountains to climb inside us. We have many challenges inside us. Initially, the mind becomes the most challenging thing. Your thought forms and it distracts you. Your five senses with the mind, it will be pulling you outside. It will disturb you to know the truth of you, who you really are. But as you really be a hero in your life, what you find out is you go on the inner journey. First, you encounter all the shadow aspects. We know what is the most vulnerable side of us that is being suppressed. When I'm so full and complete, why I'm feeling lack in life? Because certain parts of us is disowned. Most of the shadow elements are, it's nothing but our own inner judgments that we make. We label certain parts of our own self as bad. Oh, if I'm laughing, people will feel bad about my laughter. I must not show my happiness because it hurts people, because they are not happy. That's why at a very younger age, we suppress our happiness. We say that I will not smile. People may become jealous, or people may think that, oh, I am not empathic person. And we can't be true to ourselves. Laughter is coming from you, but you can't laugh. Happiness is rising from you and coming out as a smile. You can't smile because you have to be serious in society, because we are conditioned to be that way, because the operational awareness of us, which makes us survive in this world, it suppresses certain things. We go on suppressing many aspects. So dear friends, whatever that shadow of us, we need to own it. The mask that we are wearing to outside world, we show only one aspect of us, but there are hidden aspects of us which we need to completely own it initially, and then you can integrate it, heal it and integrate it. Today we will know more about this, how to own our own shadow. First of all, why do I need to know my shadow? What is that I'm going to get if I know my shadow? Because as long as you keep your shadow under the carpet, hide it, you will feel a kind of a lack in your energy. You find that you are incomplete in yourself. How can we feel complete? By disowning our left side of our body, thinking that my left hand is bad and it is not good, and my right side of the body is healthy, or upper part of my head is the greatest thing, my legs are not good. If we disown, if we don't understand that we are such old beings, then really we reject it. We only value and give credit to all the only the head part of it or the right side of us. And but everything is so important in our life. That's why when we also take a meal or food, we have shadruchi means the six tastes that we have, six ingredients, which sweet, bitter, sour, salt, what others, they're like pungent, metallic taste. All of them are important. Think about only you're eating sambar without salt, rasam without salt, or payasam kheer without sugar in it. How it feels like? It feels so bad. It's not really tasty. So in a right proportion, all of them, it really feels so complete meal for us. In the same analogy, metaphor, we need to own our everything of our life, all the aspects in us. So like how in our body also we have all the body parts. We don't say we don't label certain body parts as bad, because they're all serving us. We don't say our intestines are bad, because it carries the all the excretory fecal matter. I don't like my intestines. We can't say that. It's serving a function. We also give credit to our intestines. Think about one thing, that if your intestines are going on a strike because you have not acknowledging your intestines, they are going on a strike for 10 days, what will happen? We will land up in the surgical table, the doctor's table, because the constipation, there's intestinal obstruction. Doctor has to do something. So important to own everything. And why do I need to know my shadow? If we know a shadow, we know how to completely embrace it, integrate it, and heal it. So we'll come to that point. How do I know how to embrace it, how to own it, and all the questions we will take it one by one. And second thing is, when you know about your shadow, you become humble also. Generally in the human personality, if we think, oh, I'm the only good person in the world, I'm very good person, you consider everyone as, oh, that negative person. We judge, go on judging others. If you know that in the past, even I carried these shadow aspects, even I was speaking wrong words, I was like that angry person. Now we don't be judgmental. We understand all the angry people in the world, we understand all the fearful people in the world, because you know that you carried that in your past. Everyone, irrespective of anyone, any background. When I before my meditation practice, as a child, I gone through a lot of kinds of wounding process, a lot of emotional wounds. I have completely given up my feeling center, my heart center. I shut down because it's too unbearable. This world is a harsh place, people are very bad. Because I was with my grandmother at that point of time, or in my school, everyone used to judge me, and because I used to appear very plumpy in that moment, so everyone used to tease me. I don't know how to deal with it, and I shut down my heart through that. I don't feel any kind of sadness. I only started laughing. My laughter becomes, my smile has become a persona, a mask. I started pretending that I'm okay, but I'm not okay. I was not okay as a child. I became a rebellious teenager. As a teenager, I showed all my anger by smoking cigarettes, whatnot, all kinds of destructive habits I developed. Destructive, very destructive habits, like drinking alcohol, like socializing with, only I used to make friends with all those people who smoke, who drink alcohol. Those are my very good friends, because they are the ones who I used to open up and be myself. Others, they will judge me. I have the feeling that they will judge me. This was my story before I have come into meditation path, dear friends. If we look at our own past, we recognize many of these things. How we survived as a child, what kind of coping strategies we prepared, how kind of mechanisms we form to protect ourselves so that we will be safe in this world. So for me, numbing my consciousness is a way. I used to numb myself through shutting down my heart. Second way of numbing is cigarette smoking, and third way is drinking alcohol. This has become my numbing the consciousness. But it did not help me. It was very destructive. I was harming all the time. I used to have bronchitis. All the time I used to always have acidity, because this, like alcohol, burning my stomach, my duodenum. So at that point of time, in 1987, my life has completely radically shifted when I came into spiritual path. When I learned meditation from my guru, Brahmashri Pitama Patriji, and started looking at myself, I thought, I'm good person, I am very important, I am really very very good person. Now I have become a meditator and a special ego has come in me. I am now more spiritual person. But meditation made me to look at my wounds. Initially, what I have seen is all that whatever I buried inside my psyche, everything that I pushed down inside my dark corners of my mind, it started showing up. And I must acknowledge my wife, Dr. Lakshmi. She is such compassionate master, because as a medical student, we were classmates. She always used to guide me very compassionately, because I used to meditate still angry, meditate but still smoke and drink, and she used to question me. Those questions really challenged me. One thing she used to say is, why do you need to smoke? What are you hiding with your smoking? What are you really trying to deny in yourself by drinking alcohol? What is that you are not trying to numb through drinking alcohol? These questions used to really help me a lot, because I used to really go deep within myself. With her great support, I could muster the courage to face my inner fears, fears of my child, the vulnerable child, the child who was sent to my grandmother, the child who felt abandoned, the child who felt unloved, the child who felt angry, the child who felt so vulnerable when people used to judge. So, all that one by one, I have to completely embrace every memory, because I owned all my shadow. Then next thing that happened, the most beautiful shift occurred when I owned. Actually, it did not diminish me. By owning my darker side, all that painful side of my life, all that pain started leaving me. The pain started dissolving. The moment I embraced my fears, a sudden courage came inside me. It made me so humble. At one point of time, my meditation taken me to the next leap in my consciousness. I understood that this human personality is our vehicle here. It's so beautiful. Our personality is so beautiful. It has good, bad, and ugly parts. But I am not good, bad, and ugly. I am the soul. I am the consciousness. I have come from this oversoul, from the Sarvatma, from God, the Creator, and I'm coming here. And here I need to embrace everything as it is. And a beautiful integration happened, dear friends. This is in brief about my life, and completely my shadow. I started working, peeling layers. Of course, it took many years. It's a self-discovery process. It took me many years to peel the childhood, all those layers, the inner child, whatever the inner child carried. And then next level is all the past lives, many lifetimes, baggage that I carried, all the lifetimes I peeled. And then whatever I carried transgenerationally through my family tree, that also I peeled off, because we hide ourselves behind, we show to the world only good face. So dear friends, it only benefits us by knowing our shadow. It will not shatter us. Many people, they think that, oh, if I give focus on this darker side of me, maybe I go into depression, I become suicidal, maybe I lose interest in life, because wherever I'm focusing, it becomes more and more, it is going to multiply. No, dear friends, it's not the case. Your consciousness really tries to bring all aspects of you to the light of awareness. It brings it up. More we hide it, more it gains gravity. It pulls us down. That's why it is so important, each one of us completely be okay that you are an angry person, be okay that you have fears, be okay that you have some human weaknesses. And by embracing all that weaker side, vulnerable side of us, we become actually stronger. One day we really raise above all these things and really know about our true self. So, dear friends, this is also one book that I have read, Dr. Robert Louis Stevenson. This book, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. On this, there's several movies, Bollywood, Hollywood movies are made on this theme. This Dr. Jekyll, this is a novel, actually a fiction that's written, story written by this author. And it's beautifully, this very relevant to our topic also today. First, we need to own our shadow, and then you must know that you are not your shadow, you are not your personality, you are the soul. You are that God that you are searching for. So, and there is two people, not two people, there's only one person. He's a doctor, a PhD doctorate. He's a very well respected, known, intelligent, but there is another side of him which comes up when he's all alone. Mr. Hyde comes out from his hiding place, and he has all the sexual urges, all the evilish things, all the negative thoughts. He does many things. And it's something very interesting how these two aspects he integrated. Even in us, these two aspects need to be integrated, dear friends. Then we become whole and complete. Not become whole and complete, we understand that we are already whole and complete, because we have suppressed the shadow side. We could never raise above that play to that place of wholeness in us. And you are an inclusive being. Inclusive means in you, good, bad, and ugly aspects are part of you. Your personality aspects are part of you. Apart from it, you are also a soul essence. You are whole and complete. Everyone, each one of us, look at your own childhood, then you really understand what I'm trying to convey to you, dear friends. So when we are a little babies, each child, every child is born innocent. That's all. Our slate is clean. Our mind is completely clean. No impressions of the past also. It's a blessing in disguise that nature designed that we don't remember past lives. It's really good because we can start everything fresh. Only the mind, which is so empty, like an empty slate, an empty board. And slowly, what happens is we open our eyes when we are born and we look at our mother, we look at our father, we look at our all the family members who are coming to see us. And whenever you are crying, your mother is not look, she's unhappy, and nobody is really appreciating that you are crying baby. They will say, oh, everyone is judging you also. You can hear your grandmother saying, oh, she's a crybaby, he's a crybaby, all the time, whole night I didn't sleep, like that, many they speak that way. And also the many comments, many things that child is commented upon. And like passing remarks, sometimes some kind they talk about the body, their complexion is not good, and the child is born short stature, and the child's nose is not good, all these things. The child really has to deal with it, though the child has no language. Before 3 years age, no vocabulary for a child, only mama, papa, uncle, aunt, only few words they know. But there is a pre-verbal language. Every child is consciousness also. The child knows the feelings, directly understands the feelings of everyone. They understand the thought forms that are floating when a grandmother thinks in certain things which is unexpressed, still they can feel the thoughts. It's something interesting. A child carries that. The child now has to please the whole family, otherwise he will not survive. The people pleasing personality evolves in us. A mask of happiness evolves in us. We wear a mask. Oh, my mother will be happy if I am happy. I should suppress my sadness. I should suppress my whatever tears that I am coming out. I should be only smiling, only be happy, and not to fear. Because whenever you are fearful, your father says, oh, you are like a timid, you are like a girl. A boy is told that you are like a girl, and you always cry like a girl. A boy is told that way, and boy suppresses his tears. He has to now pretend that he is a brave boy. Inside there is a timid. Everyone has a fear. Whoever is born, every child, fear is so natural emotion. Even I fear, you fear, and everyone fears. We need to be authentic. When you go into the darkness and suddenly you fear some strange, that's okay to fear, but we try to suppress that. We pretend that we are the brave ones. We show the brave face to the world, but it's only survival strategy. It makes us survive in the world, only that much. What happens is we slowly develop, only the personality that we develop becomes the definition of us. We define ourselves, what we show to the outer world. And there is a opposite side of it, the shadow part, the qualities that we had like happiness and our natural expression, our humane emotions, the feeling side of us, the creative side of us, even the spontaneous side of us, playful side of us, everything is suppressed. Even the anger part of us is mostly suppressed. Children, they get angry when something is really not according to their choice is happening. They're forced to eat some food. Parents, they say you need to have more protein. They try to make the child eat some protein food. The child says, no, I don't want to eat this, I don't want to drink milk. But parents, they tell so many things. They will scold, they will hit, they will say that the ghost will come and eat you if you don't drink milk, all these things. The child now has to pretend, suppress his natural spontaneous nature, not natural expression of the consciousness. It is everything is being suppressed. So that's how the shadow develops, dear friends. Even this current life, we closely observe, we can notice that. Look at this. A man may give his feeling side or relationship mode away to his wife. So when he gets married, a man understands very soon that the wife is also a storm. Sometimes there is an emotional storm that is coming out, because naturally every woman is full of heart centered, and this heart means there are certain emotions which naturally spills out of it. It's okay, but a woman is so scared, so mostly the feeling side is suppressed. The man completely stops that feeling side, goes into intellectual side. Only the intellectual side is cultivated. And when they have children, the child is going through some problem and the child is emoting. The husband cannot face that emotion. He says to the wife that, wife, please, you deal with this situation, because it's so too scary to face the emotion of the child. That's why many men, they also have this problem. This is just one example I'm giving. There are many that women also carry, suppress the shadow aspects out there, even in man and woman, in everyone, dear friends. So symptoms, certain symptoms that we can notice in us when we try to suppress these shadow elements, because it tries to control us. Whatever that is buried in us, the fear that we control, suppress inside us, it comes out as a panic attack. The anger that is suppressed inside, it becomes rage. Enviousness is natural emotion, but when it is suppressed, it becomes jealousy. So many of these emotions, shadow aspects which are suppressed, it can lead to chronic states. So number one is sudden, unexpected, explosive anger or rage that we find in many people. So there are mood swings. Suddenly this Mr. Hyde comes out. They will be like a volcano which is bursting out. And frequent moodiness for no obvious reason. There's no sthita pragnata, there is no kind of all of a sudden they're a very different personality, like multiple personalities are living in the same time, like a Aparichitudu movie. In Telugu there is a movie that I have seen long back. I don't know in Hindi or in other languages, but it's very interesting movie. This person has three aspects in him. There's a hero aspect in him, which is a nice and he's good in the world and he's very sincere in his job and everything. But there are two other aspects. There is a romantic and who is like a playboy aspect in him. There's one more aspect. So sometimes these other aspects, the villains and other aspects, they come out. There's a moodiness that comes in our life for no obvious reason. When shadow is there, that's also is one of the symptoms that we see. Desire to hurt yourself or others. When we have the shadow, how can we identify that we have a shadow? We hurt others and also hurt ourselves. The anger is a double-edged sword. Either anger going to be expressed, projected out, or else it is going to be inwardly directed, it's going to be internalized, and you hurt yourself with that anger. So that's also the shadow aspect of us. Whatever is suppressed inside, that's very hurting. Feeling in and out of love quickly. This also they can notice in the teenagers and those who are in the relationships. They fall in and fall out of relationships, fall out of love. They fall in love, very next moment they are falling out of love also very quickly, because the shadow aspects, they show up. Most of the young generation, we see that nowadays because the highest rate of divorce that's happening around the globe, the divorce is so much around the globe now, and it's happening in India also now. And they say the great words of love just one day before, now they are the worst enemies. Everything has gone, the shadow things are coming up. In the marriage, mostly it comes up, the shadow aspects. Before marriage, they are very good. If it is an arranged marriage also, they, when they go for looking at each other, they feel so good, so nice. And they say, I like ice cream, I also like ice cream, I also like Shah Rukh Khan, you also like Shah Rukh Khan. Oh, they go on saying same pinch, same pinch. But after marriage, all the shadow aspects will come up. That time it's so important to support each other, to be together and heal. It's a space for each other they can give, and understand that this need to be embraced, what's coming up, not to judge each other. And then there's a possibility that both of them can raise above, transcend in that beautiful relationship. The true love can happen in them. And when we have this shadow which is suppressed inside us, we blame others, we project on others. We have this habit of projections because we always try to point out the fingers at others, because we don't see our own inner whatever that stuff we are carrying inside us. We try to see that, oh, my unhappiness, the cause is you. And we project everything, all our things outside to the people, and many people around us we blame. Even our parents, we blame parents, not looking at our own shadow side. Highly accident prone, if we have the shadow side, highly accident prone. And addictions, work addiction, workaholics, it's the worst. Work and our personal life, our emotional life, and creative life, everything, spiritual life must go in balance. But mostly we hide in our work because certain things we don't want to face in our own reality. We try to escape from it by making ourselves so busy in the work. It's so important to identify that we have work addictions, we have addictions in our relationships, addictions to the drugs and alcohol, to smoking and all the bad habits, and sexual addictions. People have sexual addictions, all kinds of addictions. Look at the shadow side. What is that in you which is making you to become addicted to certain things, so that you're trying to avoid facing your shadow? Because to heal ourselves, we need to completely be authentic, honest with ourselves. And self-denial is also another symptom. We deny completely our own self. Self-criticism, self-judgments, striving for perfection, to be perfect all the time. We are born as ourselves. We don't need to be perfect, because the perfectionism, we really become very, very stressful. We have a yardstick and we try to be perfect in every moment. It's not possible. We have to embrace our imperfections. It's okay to be imperfect, because it's a survival mode that we developed at a very younger age. We notice that only perfect people are in the world are receiving appreciation, love, and applause, and all the attention from the world are given to the people who are perfect beings. And we suppress our imperfections. We only show outside perfectionism, and we have to show the perfectionism. Perfectionists, they become hypertensives. We go on, I should be perfect, I must be perfect. Should and must is control. You control yourself so much that you really impose condition on yourself. That internal pressure is tremendous. But if you embrace your okay to be imperfect, it's okay that I'm failing, it's okay that I'm not up to the mark, it's fine, I embrace it. In that moment, you give your best. People who are focused on that perfectionism, they inevitably fail. They go on failing in their life because whatever we really try to be, we also deny the other part, the shadow side of the fear of being imperfect. That fear is being suppressed in us. That lot of our energy is wasted and spent for suppressing that fear of imperfectionism. And this itself will create such tension, pressure in our lives. And lying, deceiving, and betraying. This is also another thing that happens. The shadow which is controlling us, which makes us to distort the truth. We don't tell the truth. We try lie. We lie a lot. We hide the truth. We are not authentic, mostly because we fear people judge me if I'm authentic, if I'm honest, and many things. We develop this only false persona. Mostly this persona is our own self, what is called as perceptions, self assumptions, that people will judge me if I am like this and all that. But people may not be judging you, but we think that way. We think that I have to be in this certain ways, I have to appear in a certain way to the people, I have to only be that way. And we suppress what we are really, who we are really. So, dear friends, many times we come into spiritual path to bypass all these things. There's something called spiritual bypassing. I like this word. I think one of the psychologists long back, and many few decades back, he coined this particular word. He observed, being a psychologist, that many spiritual people, they still suffer. They try to bypass their whatever they're carrying inside. They try to hide their vulnerabilities. They don't try to heal themselves. They only just become meditators. They close their eyes, meditate, and go into super consciousness state. It won't help. Carl Gustav Jung said, by imagining light, going into the light, and imagining God figures, you will not become holy and divine. He said something very beautiful. He said, by embracing your dark fears, which are lurking in your dark corners of your mind, by embracing all the darker shadow side of you, you become whole and complete. Many people, they have this mechanism called spiritual bypass. Even we use spirituality as a defense protection mechanism. That's why we see in India, we have a notion that all the sadhus are escapists. But not all the sadhus or monks are escapists. I say it honestly. Not everyone who is coming into spiritual path are doing the spiritual bypassing. But I met many spiritual people, many monks, many of these ones, even including myself. I know about myself. I came into spiritual path because I initially used spirituality to forget, try to suppress my shadow side. I developed a spiritual mask around me. But very soon, I recognized that I'm trying to bypass. I have to address my weaker, vulnerable, fearful side of me. I have to completely embrace I am whoever I was in the past. I can't be untruthful to myself. I have to be truthful to myself. So that point of time, I could completely use the spirituality not to bypass, but to spirituality to heal me. Spirituality can be double-edged, two ways it can be used. It can be used to just escape from this current reality. There is suffering. People say that there is no suffering. It's a denial. There is suffering in the world. People are suffering. We also have suffering in the world. We also have fears in our world. We have to completely be okay with the suffering. But like a Buddha, one has to be courageous not to escape from suffering. Buddha did not escape from suffering. Instead, he wanted to find out, investigate why suffering is there. What's the cause for suffering? What is the way out of suffering? So spiritual bypassing is also very important, my dear friends. I want to bring this um, important point to all of you, because nowadays spirituality has become a fad, a fashion. Like many people, they meditate, but meditation is just like a cat which is drinking milk. By closing its eyes, it says that no dog is there, no enemy is there. It's something like that. Many, they do meditation, but it's not really, dear friends. Don't try to run away from really your whatever stuff you're carrying inside. Use the spirituality, your meditation, to embrace, to face all the fears, confront, face all the situations courageously. Even though you have fear, face it, face every situation in life. Not to use spirituality to bypass. Sometimes they use spiritual concepts to bypass. For example, oh, this is my past life karma, that's why I can't change in my life. Past is gone. We throw the blame on the past life karma, and what about your present effort? What can you do now? You can do something now to change your life. That's what spiritual bypass is. We use a spiritual logic, our spiritual knowledge. We use that knowledge in order to conveniently escape from our facing the reality, facing our suffering. But suffering need to be embraced totally as it is. Only by completely embracing the pain and suffering, we go to the next level where the lotus flower will come out of this mud of suffering. Where there is no mud, there is no lotus flower which cannot be bloomed. Without all these things what we're going through in the human dimension, human plane, the suffering, sometimes we cry, we're fearful, we are angry, we have so many things, many aspects in us, all things so humane. It's important to embrace our humane nature. It's okay. Even our animal nature, your animalistic instincts that we have, everything is okay. Then we are not really bypassing using the spirituality. We are not using the intellectual bypassing. We are not trying to use any psychological defense mechanisms, denial or intellectualization, rationalization, all these concepts. We don't use it to run away from reality, but instead we find the solutions. So, dear friends, in every weakness, the seeds of strength you find. That's the best part of owning your shadow. That's the best part of knowing your darker aspects which are suppressed inside. If you want to know about it, you just look into your childhood memories. In us, every memory is fresh and alive, all of us. Just when we can sometimes are relaxing like that on this lockdown period, when doing nothing on your bed, just look at your childhood. Just allow your childhood memories to come into the surface of your consciousness. You'll recognize many things. The times when you felt weak and fearful and you suppressed it, now you can embrace those aspects. Embrace that child in you who felt fearful. Tell that child in you that it's okay that you felt fear of darkness. It's okay that you felt This way, I still love you and accept you the way you are. You don't need to pretend, hide, and run away. It's okay to be fearful. It's okay to be angry. And that moment, the strength is born in you. So all the shadow aspects releases great energy in you when you embrace it. I remember a story that I heard. This is the story of this Buddhist master, Nagarjuna, Acharya Nagarjuna. He was the greatest enlightened being on par with Buddha. He's the one who said that samsara is nirvana. He is very, very highly enlightened being. So in those times, one day to the monastery, to the place, he was running a university also that time, a spiritual university, Nagarjuna University. It's a Buddhist university. It was the same time as Nalanda and Takshashila universities. So Nagarjuna one day was in his ashram, in his place, and one thief came. And he's so honest and authentic, this thief. He said, when all the disciples, monks, everyone left, the thief said, you know, my dear master, I have been closely watching you from a distance. Whenever I hear you, something, a bell rings in my heart. I resonate a lot what you're speaking. I really want to be with you, learn something from you. But I must be honest about myself. I'm a thief. I'm a professional thief. You know, that's my habit. That's my profession also. I can't lie about it. But I must give you the freedom. Whether you want to choose me as your disciple to teach me or not is up to you. But I must tell you, this is my background. I am a professional thief. I go and I can't stop that habit of going and stealing the things. I'm very professional. Nobody caught me so far. And Nagarjuna said, okay, that's really very good. You're most welcome to learn. Even though you are a thief, it's okay. And immediately thief was surprised. He thought that he will refuse. He thought this guru will judge me. He will say, I will, thieves, you must now stop being a thief. Then you are eligible to learn spirituality. But this master is something unique. He's saying that I don't need to stop being a thief. It's okay. He felt so happy. He said, I am very wonderful, sir. I am really feeling happy about you. And thanks for accepting me as a disciple. And he was conveying his gratitude. That moment, Guru said, Nagarjuna said, only on one condition, only one simple condition is there. You can be a thief, you can be yourself, and apart from whatever the meditation practice, Anapanasati meditation that we do, and one more condition is there, one simple condition, that is, when you are doing anything, you must do with awareness. That's all. Next time you go to for your job of thievery, stealing things, picking up things from others, you have to be totally become aware in that moment. Only thing is, that is my request. That's the only condition. Thief thought, okay, he's not restricting me. Only he said, add awareness to my life. That's all. Okay, Guruji, I will follow what you're saying. Tonight also I have important task to do. I have a plan, because my job starts from the night only. When everyone sleeps, my profession starts. I'm a very professional. So I can't abscond from my job also. I'm very strict and a very disciplined fellow. So now I meditate with you, and I am going to practice awareness even when I'm going to be a thief. So with those words, that night he went to one palace, and he knew how to open the treasure box and everything. He's an expert. Nobody can catch him. So he opened the treasure box, and he found all the diamonds, precious stones, all the rubies, diamonds, precious stones, blue sapphires, whatnot, all of them. And Immediately when he saw that, his eyes were really glittering, glowing, and because the greed was coming out. Oh, I will be the richest person in the world now, because today jackpot, I'm going to get so much out of this, the greed was coming. And immediately Guru's words were coming in his head. Guru said awareness, awareness, awareness. So when he is becoming aware, immediately he's losing the interest, he's closing the treasure box. Again another thought is coming, no, 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 I'm not now thief, I'm the greed is coming again, he's opening the box. Again the awareness is coming, he's losing that, he's closing the box. And in that way he struggled a little bit. Finally the awareness won over everything. In that moment awareness took over him. He understood that he was greedy. He understood in that very moment that he don't need to have all this, he doesn't need to carry all this wealth, richness, and this treasure. It's almost like 14 generations of people can survive on this. I don't need to be greedy. He realized in that moment about his greed, which is coming from his lack condition, this lack which was like a seed energy in his subconscious mind, which is suppressed, the shadow element. He embraced it in that moment. Completely he became whole and complete. And he came back to the Nagarjuna, and he was so quiet. From that day, no night duty. He was all right. Now he is applying the principles that he learned. He's still a thief, but he is now stealing the wisdom, stealing the master's wisdom from in meditation. He's meditating and getting the greater wisdom, because he embraced the inner thief in him. He said to the inner aspect of the thief that it's okay that you're a thief. Now you are a thief with awareness. A thief with awareness will not be stealing this kind of outer richness, but he will now stealing the real treasure that we all carry, the wisdom. So dear friends, in every weakness the seeds of strength are present. So I tell you some questions to all of you friends. Think about these things and let these things, maybe after some time, maybe tomorrow, when you are all by yourself, when you are just contemplating, you have some personal time, that time think about these things. When do you play small in your life? Mostly we do that. We feel so small, we play small, we undermine ourselves, we belittle ourselves, and we try to diminish ourselves because so many hidden fears are there. Playing small. And second, in what ways do you feel judged by others? Think about this question, because we all mind have so many perceptions. We feel judged by others. Maybe they are not judging, but it's only your perception. Think about it. Do you feel being judged even though they are not judging, but you feel that an inner perception is there that my mother is judging, my father is judging, or society, my neighbors are judging me, my other friends are judging me? In what ways do you feel judged by others? And what judgments you have internalized? Because you have self judgments also. When you think about yourself also, you have judgments. Actually we judge ourselves more than others. That is the worst part, which we need to face. That's also part of the shadow. So it actually shows what shadow aspects we are carrying. What is that shadow that is suppressed inside us, dear friends? What negatives or positives do others point out about you that you have trouble accepting? Because people are all the time, they give feedback to you. You look so harsh, you look so stern, you don't speak, you don't smile, you are very blunt fellow. Because in the childhood, that's what I was told. I used to be straightforward. I used to tell anything on the face of anyone, Yeah, what I don't hide things. That was my nature in the childhood. But many people gave me the feedback. You should not speak like that. And slowly I learned, oh, I should people pleasing. I have to please people. Only things say those things to people, even though I don't feel those things in my heart. I have to be inauthentic. I have to disown my authenticity. I have to disown my honesty. This is what happens generally, friends. And people are generally very good mirrors. They always tell you certain negatives and positives to you. They point out that to you. And certain things you don't, you feel you're being triggered, you don't accept. Even positive compliments, people are saying, oh, you're such wonderful intelligent person, you're creative person. You say, oh, it's not me, it's my husband who has done work, it's my wife who has done work, or it's the intelligence, it's this teamwork, and I should not take credit about it. And we have non-acceptance of some positive compliments. We don't accept them. We feel, because it also tells that something that we have not accept our own self in us, something that we have disowned, maybe a good part of you which is disowned. And also emotional suppression. What emotions you keep on suppressing, because you know that we are also emotional beings. Human beings are all thinking beings, emotional beings, also action beings, also being beings. They are also consciousness beings. We all have all these aspects. We are also emotional beings. So most of the times we suppress these emotions. That also shows about our shadow. What kind of emotional suppression happened from childhood? What are those three or five, four, five emotions which are being pushed down? You buried it. One thing is definitely our fears are mostly suppressed, our anger is suppressed, and our whatever that sadness which is suppressed, many things, even our loneliness is suppressed. Many of these emotions are suppressed. So dear friends, when you own these emotions, owning the shadow is owning your emotions, owning your judgments, owning all that stuff you went through in your life, and a great energy which is suppressed inside is going to be released. That moment you transcend to a new place in you, that is completeness, your wholeness. We are soul beings who can embrace this human personality structure as it is. Self-love letter. I recommend this, dear friends. This is how we can work on our shadow self. So in that, think about all those childhood memories when the child in you, the child version, the teenager version, adolescent version has gone through certain challenges and difficulties. You're writing a letter to that the child version of you. Maybe you are teased in the school, maybe you are bullied or shamed by the class or teachers, you are humiliated in front of people or public, maybe you are hit by your parents or slapped by people, and you write a love letter to your own child version, teenage version, and your adolescent version of you. You write the sweetest things that you can think of, that it's okay that you went through this and I still love you, and it's okay that you failed in the class, it's okay that you could not pronounce well, you could not be a good intelligent student, it's okay, I'm okay with you as you are, I love you, you are my darling. You must say that to your own, all the versions of you, the deeper aspects of you, dear friends. This is one process exercise we can do when we have free time. And hot buttons, trigger buttons, remote controls. What are the triggers that you find? Hot buttons, people always push these buttons and immediately they know how to push this button, immediately you are sad by just one gesture of others. immediately you become sad, immediately you become laughing, immediately you become somebody different. The remote control you have given to others, because your shadow which you have completely disowned, which is pushed inside you, which is perceived by others, they are playing with you. The remote control is in their hands. You take your remote control into your hands. You are the master of your life, dear friends. When you own your shadow, it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to be fearful. Then that moment you know your grander self, your magnificent self. And about your family members, they are the best mirrors that you find. They because they are by the side of you, you meet them 24/7, you see them, you look at them, you have conversations, you get a lot of feedback, a lot of things that are happening in these conversations and situations in your family. So look at those things. Even your shadow material, shadow stuff, we come to know about it. What is that in our family system, or our family as a family that we went through? To keep the name of the family high, I suppress certain things, prestige and name of the family, and all that. We have suppressed certain things because every child is so unique and born uniquely. But mostly what happens is the children are not allowed to shine their magnificence. The uniqueness is diminished at a very younger age, because there's a kind of family, uh, what is called conscience. I can call it as family mindset, or family energy, family soul. Means there's a soul of the family. That means they have those unspoken rules, many things which are not spoken, which is saying to the child that you can't be different, you can't live differently, you have to obey, and even though it is incorrect, you have to be like this. That's all. You can't be yourself. You are supposed to be what we are saying to you. You have to behave that way, you have to think that way, you have to feel only what we are saying. Only those things you have to feel. So many times we understand, for our family system and family interactions, we recognize the shadow material a lot. Self-criticism, self-judgment, we talked about it. What are those self-critical thoughts? We are the worst critics to ourselves. There is a critical aspect in us which we need to completely own it. And sometimes it comes up because the shadow is not bad, dear friends. The shadow is trying to protect you. Your judgments, self-judgment, self-criticism, all these things, your inner fears that you carried, all of them are actually, they helped you so far. They're not bad. Your fear is making you sure that you are protected, so that now the child who was scared in the childhood now will be carrying that fear as a protection mechanism. She develops that fear, she keeps it in herself, she keeps that fear even though she's an adult, she's no more a child, she has such a strength in her, but she still carries that fear because that made her to survive. For example, a case study of a child who was sexually abused, and the child whose boundaries are violated cannot say to anyone. This is like a secret inside her, and very fearful about all those men, adults, men, who are taking advantage. And she fears now interacting with men. She fears, even though as an adult, she still carries the fear of men, fear of adults. And she has mistrust. She don't trust men at all. It's very difficult to trust men because that mistrust that she developed, it's also a protection. That's also becomes a shadow. The shadow which contains the fear and mistrust and anger. Sometimes the anger comes out when any man who is coming closer to her, she becomes very angry. That also becomes a protector. She protects herself with anger. So what I mean to say to all of you, dear friends, is shadow is not that it is bad. Only thing is, we need to acknowledge all the shadow aspects which are pushed down is our vulnerable side, our weaker side, our fearful side, which we need to give the attention, own it. And when you completely own it, you realize that it has served a beautiful purpose, and now you can move to a different place in your consciousness, because this belongs to the past. Even self-criticism, these critical thoughts in us which are saving us sometimes, it tells you, if you are like this, if you are sleeping for an extra hour, you will fail in your life. Your self-critical thoughts are saying that. That's why you can't relax. You wake up by 6 o'clock. I had this memory from my childhood that whenever I used to sleep more, always there used to be a loud voice of my caretakers that, wake up, you must study, otherwise you will fail in exams. You are a lazy person. So that used to be always in my head. Later on, I used to be self-critical. Whenever I sleep an extra hour, I used to be so self-critical, criticizing myself for sleeping an extra hour. But now it's different, friends. Now I know I'm the master of my shadow, master of my mind, master of my soul, master of my life. I'm not masters to anyone. I'm master of myself. And you can be a master of your own self too. And all those secrets that we kept inside us also is the shadow. It belongs to the shadow self. You don't need to reveal all the secrets to people, but what you can do is, in your meditation, bring them up in your consciousness, in your awareness. When something which is put inside the dark, it gains a lot of gravity and heaviness. It becomes your dark secret, which really a lot of your energy will be invested on maintaining that secret. So much of spiritual energy is wasted to maintain the secrets. We have personal secrets, we have family secrets, but in your meditation, be courageous enough to completely bring them up in your consciousness and release it into the universe. Put it inside in the hands of the universe, the God, the all-pervading, omniscient, omnipresent God, the Bhagavan, everywhere. Because you don't need to personally anymore carry it in you. You can liberate it, release it. And we have the right to keep certain secrets. It's okay to have secrets, but because the secret, which are dark secrets, create shame in us. The shame means sham. You are putting a blame on yourself that I am bad, I'm wrong, there's something fundamentally wrong with myself. That's what is the secret means. The dark secret creates that energy. So dear friends, the victim mentality, victim memories, victim consciousness, all that, whether it is being a money victim or relationship victim, a victim of situations, victim of many things in our life, all that, it also becomes our shadow. It becomes our dark, deep shadow. It's so important to now embrace that inner victim, embrace that inner perpetrator, angry person inside us, which becomes the shadow side of us. Completely own it. And then we go to the new place in us. What is your biggest fear of your life? Even fear of spirituality, fear of being psychic, fear of success, fear of life, fear of dying. What is your biggest fear? Even I have met many spiritual friends, for meditator friends, who says that my biggest fear is becoming enlightened. Enlightenment is their biggest fear, because they feel threatened to the core. What if I become enlightened? Suddenly there is a light that is going to be lit inside my head, and suddenly I have to live differently. That means I have to give up everything. The biggest fear shows up, dear friends. So spirituality, life, many things. Think about what is your biggest fear. Mostly we suppress it. We keep it inside us without dealing, confronting this fear. Know your fear, and then you can liberate your fear. The fear releases the energy. Fear becomes your strength. What are your shadow desires? All those desires, mostly we suppress the desires. All those desires, every desire, just switch on the torchlight and torchlight of awareness. Throw the light on these desires which you suppress inside you from childhood. Maybe eating an ice cream is your desire. Maybe it is going to a place all by yourself. Maybe having your personal freedom to be just yourself. Maybe it is to climb a tree is your desire, which is suppressed inside you, because there are many people who says, don't climb tree, you fall, you fracture your limbs. And don't go into the rain, you catch cold. Maybe that's your desire to do the rain dance. Maybe it's your desire to go to the public place, which was not allowed to you when you were a child, to go and drink tea. Irani chai, you want to drink with all the people. You want to be one with everyone, all the crowd. But which was not allowed. Your father said or mother said, we are rich people. We are not supposed to mingle with ordinary folks. You're prevented from this desire to be mingling with others. So your social status, many things comes into play, and you're prevented to fulfill your certain desires. It becomes your shadow. Constantly it pulls you down, dear friends. So with your awareness, really this shadow, whatever that stuff that we suppress, can brought out into the surface consciousness. That's how the greater healing in you happens. Awareness itself is a great healing, dear friends. When you become aware, when you are awakening your inner consciousness to recognize all those things in you, what happens is all those things are going to be integrated in you. Be courageous. Now, also shadow letter. If you consider all that what you have recognized in you as the shadow elements, shadow components, shadow aspects which is suppressed in you, it has formed a shadow self in you. There is a pseudo self or a shadow self. Maybe a personality mask is outside, but inner the shadow is suppressed inside you. You write a letter to that shadow self, that you acknowledge all that in you. You own it, you embrace it totally. Then it will be integrated, dear friends. So, my dear friends, it's so wonderful that today we could talk about this. Let's meditate now. Let's practice some meditation. It will be nice to meditate for some time. And before that, I say that we can also do something important. Before meditation, I request all of you, dear friends, to look at this. A beautiful walkthrough that is made by our friends, spiritual architects from Bangalore, who are really divine instruments. I really thank them and acknowledge for all their efforts. And I would like you to watch this video of Sahasrara Pyramid.
Welcome to the realm of immense possibilities with Life Foundation, where great visions are crystallized for the benefit of every individual seeking to comprehend and live the universal truths. Life Foundation was started as Life Research Academy in the year 2000 and had birthed Quantum Life University QLU in the year 2007 in 150 acres land along the lines of ancient Takshashila and Nalanda universities. Dr. Newton is the founder and chairman of Life Foundation. Dr. Lakshmi is the co-founder and Rajshekhar and Sridevi are the founding trustees. Dr. Newton Kondaveti took his first significant step towards achieving his life purpose in the year 1989 when he met Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji for the very first time. Dr. Lakshmi is a staunch advocate of vegetarianism. Together, they traveled to more than 120 countries and touched the lives of hundreds of thousands of people by teaching meditation, conducting self-empowerment workshops, training facilitators in comprehensive holistic therapeutic processes, and promoting vegetarianism. The first phase work of QLU has union of male and female energies. The golden pyramid represents masculine energy. 72,000 crystals placed in this pyramid represents 72,000 nadis. Purple crystals at the apex of the Sahasrara pyramid represent highest statue of enlightenment. Join us in this unique mission to offer ancient wisdom to the modern world through Quantum Life University QLU.
That's wonderful, friends. In between, there was an interruption with the sound. So, but you got the essence of it, and the whole credit goes to Shobha and Mahesh, who really converted this entire vision of Sahasrara pyramid into beautiful, tangible form. They are the architects, and I want you to, both of you, to share about the Sahasrara pyramid. Shobha and Mahesh, can you please few words from you about it?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I just love seeing that video again and again and again. Yeah. I mean, I'm just not satisfied with that. I just love to see it again and again till it is really manifested. And the entire designing process was really so amazing. And it's not that we have designed it. No, uh, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Sir was giving all those thoughts to us. Whenever we are stuck, just meditate, and we used to get all the solutions of how to really, build it in a pragmatic way. What are all the um, challenges that come in a way in physically manifesting it? And if we have experienced that just while designing, then we just can't imagine how much it is going to give to the people when it is built, and when we are using that space, the amount of energy those 72,000 crystal will bring in that pyramid, that energy grid will be amazing. So, I mean, maybe now if I say in words, all may not connect it as I connect it, but once they use that space, they'll really know what it is. That energy grid is amazing. So it's really amazing. And yeah, Mahesh, please share something.
Mahesh, please
Yes,
share.
sir. So I'm eagerly waiting for the construction to start, sir, and I want to see that virtually it is already there at QLU campus, sir. So we want to see it in a physical form so that everybody can see that, sir. And it was a great experience while doing all the process of doing it. And many a times I asked her, "How did you do this?" There are some certain softwares, so wherein she has not learned, but she's now at that time she did it. So I told her, asked her, "How did you do it?" So I think it's the flow of cosmic energies, I think. Sir. Thank you. Sir. Thank
And we request all the viewers of the todays to please come forward and contribute in whatever ways you can for this wonderful structure. And there is no personal benefit for anyone from this structure except for the society. We all are going to really experience that tremendous energy, and evolve ourselves, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So I request everyone to please, in whatever ways you can, come forward and contribute and help QLU in manifesting it. So, thank you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shobha and Mahesh. And because to create a kind of space where all people can meditate and evolve, because human beings or human species can go into the next level of evolution. And these sacred structures like the Sahasrara pyramid, which has a globe and the pyramid together, which is also symbolic representation of the Sri Chakra. Sri Chakra is the place where Lalita Mata, we say that a Parashakti is residing in the Sri Chakra. She is the complete embodiment, and completely every part of it is that energy of Lalita Mata is there. So we are bringing up this sacred structure on this planet Earth, which was not existing so far, which is already existing in higher dimensional realities. And both of you, I really appreciate for the way you really brought everything, the vision into the drawings, and the drawings into now soon we are going to have this project. Sasrara pyramid construction work is going to begin, and we're going to witness, all of us, dear friends, this beautiful pyramid very soon. let us say tathastu, so be it, because this is for the world. This is the gift that we can give to the world, because the wisdom it is going to represented by this pyramid. Sahasrara means 1,000 petals will be there in a pyramid. That 1,000 petals and 72,000 crystals and the globe and the pyramid, all that, it's an energetic structure which is symbolically representing our own inner wisdom of the soul. So it's like how many people they are inspired with Taj Mahal. They visit, millions of people around the globe every year. They come to Taj Mahal. The same way, Sahasrara pyramid also is like a spiritual Taj Mahal. It's like a different Taj Mahal. It's those who are really passionate about truth, whoever have found that this the greater truth, they're all part of this co-creation process, and they all join the hands, and many invisible hands, many masters behind this the dream project, many invisible beings. I feel their presence, and how they constantly, from our side we only do 1%, but 99% work is done by those masters. We must thank all those higher masters, those higher beings. I always have such deep gratitude to those universal beings. So, dear friends, it's really wonderful, Shobha and Mahesh, to have you today. We're going to meditate now. We end in a beautiful way with a nice closure, because the theme for this meditation is to initially go within into the stillness and silence inside. In that silence, we embrace the shadow, the first, that vulnerable shadow side, completely own it, and then we say we accept it totally. We don't deny, we don't suppress, we don't need to. It's part of us. The anger is part of us, the fear is part of us, the sadness is part of us, an aspect of our consciousness which is feeling sad. It's okay. We embrace everything as it is, and then we reach to even the good parts of us, even there's a wonderful parts of us in us, the magnificence, and we go beyond to the consciousness which is unlimited in us. We are that gods who are enclosed in these flesh bodies. They're all gods. Only thing is we have forgotten about it. So let's meditate, dear friends. Now let's close our eyes, sit down in a comfortable posture, and joining your two hands together, for 5 minutes, we're going to observe our normal, natural breathing process. Just notice your inhalation and exhalation. Slowing down in your thoughts. And as you go on observing, noticing your breath, all the routine thoughts from the mind, they fade away. You can appreciate that stillness, silence that's coming in you, the gap between the thoughts. I'd like you to give all the attention to that space within yourself where you can experience this stillness. Once you are in the plane of consciousness where you are experiencing stillness, completely be willing and ready to totally own all your aspects, all the parts of yourself. certain parts of us which are labeled as bad, negative, ugly. There's certain parts of us which are good aspects, good parts of us. Everything as it is, we embrace, we accept, we own. To do that, you may look at your own childhood. You may visualize yourself entering into an empty room. In this empty room, in the center of this room, you welcome the child version of you. A little child will come up to meet you. This is the child version of you, the past version of you. Without any kind of analysis, judgment, I'd like you to completely welcome this child version of you to meet you in that an empty room. In this meditation, I'd like you to either use visualization process, or you may use your feeling center. Feel yourself inside this empty room. Feel the child version of you coming and meeting you. Trust the impressions coming to you. I'd like you to just look into the eyes of this child and tell to this child, I'm coming from the future time. Glad that I could find you today, meet you today. I express my joy in meeting you. Just befriend this child version of you. Tell this child, now look at all those memories, good, bad, and ugly, all kinds of memories of this child. Tell this child, it's okay that you felt fearful. It's okay that you became angry. It's okay that you have gone through these situations in your life. You tell to this child, I still love you and accept you the way you are, even though you feel fear, even though you are angry, even though you are sad. I still accept you, love you the way you are. Just from your heart, open your heart furthermore and take the child close to your heart. Embrace the child. Demonstrate your acceptance, love through this warm embrace. Allow in this deep state of meditation all those impressions of all the memories of you from the past completely getting integrated, all the child memories of your childhood. Even the vulnerable side of this child, all those vulnerabilities need completely accepted and embraced. It's okay to be that way. Let your inner child, the child version of you, listen to these important healing words from you. It's okay to be that way. It's okay that you are going through this. It's okay. I accept you and love you. We can do something now together. Give these loving, comforting words from your heart. In this deep healing space of silence, as you expand your awareness to embrace not only the child's version, but also your past lives and all those aspects, many aspects, all those known, unknown, even unknown aspects, but you can release an intention from your heart that all these aspects I own and I embrace, I accept. This point of time, whether it is a victim aspect or a perpetrator aspect, good aspect or a bad aspect, will not label or judge. The heart is the center of love, unconditional love. This unconditional love, let every memory is integrated, processed, integrated into your wholeness. At this moment, we are going to take another leap in this meditation. We're going to go beyond good and bad memories, beyond right and wrong memories, beyond all the pleasant and unpleasant things that happened in you. Go beyond to a deeper place within you where you find your whole self. Know that you are that complete, whole, total self, the God self, the divine self. You are the holiest, the holy. You are the sacredest, the sacred. You are the one whom you are searching for. Maybe it is the wholeness of you are experiencing is a deep, joyful stillness and silence. Maybe this is coming as a vision and an image to you. Maybe it is coming to you as a vibration in your body. As you tune into this frequency of your own total complete self, which is the highest truth of you, you are that consciousness which is non-linear, non-local. You are not the shadow. You are not this personality structure. You are much more than this shadow, much more than this personality. You are that soul. You are that consciousness. I'd like you to now just experience that your total, complete self. What would you be experiencing if you are that complete self? How would you be feeling? What would you be experiencing? Give all the attention to this complete total self. In that in that consciousness of you, everything is included. Your personality and all the aspects, every part of you is part of this consciousness which is expansive. Last 1 minute, dear friends. In the deep stillness, silence, can integrate your entire experience. All the insights that you gained about your total complete self. Thirty seconds. Okay, my dear friends, whenever you are ready, you may place your hands on your eyes, touching your eyelids, and slowly you can come back with these insights that you gained from your own self. Welcome back, dear friends. Wonderful friends. Today we had a beautiful interaction and Sajjana Sangatya meditation, and I thank everyone for joining. And dear friends, there are 2 questions or 3 questions we can take. It's good to take these questions. I think there are many best wishes, good wishes that are shared with us. I think Lakshmi Manchu, Madam Garu, she is saying, I see myself meditating inside this pyramid very soon. That's wonderful for your blessings, and you must bless by coming to the land again. Thank you, Madam. Thank you. And it's really wonderful. And Gaurav Gupta ji is saying that it's to become an international place of human unity and collective consciousness. That's really wonderful. Thank you. That's really wonderful. So each one of you, really, I thank for your good wishes and your take me in such deep meditation, Andy. Thank you, madam. Thank you. That's really wonderful. So we are now coming to a close to the session. How to distinguish, one more question, how to distinguish between different energies in my body? So one thing is cultivating the awareness and watchfulness and watch those energies. For example, whenever these shadow aspects are getting integrated, you find these kinds of energies coming to you, and when it is integrated, you find completely dissolving. For example, certain times it's a very intense energies which are coming up, showing up, and now it's going to be not there. So different energies, you can notice that. The key is your own observation, noticing, power of noticing. And Madhu ji is asking, is adding weight expression of a shadow? What are we? Yes, exactly. What are we defending ourselves from, sir? So the fat can be many ways. We are protecting from outside world, maybe unsafety, not safe. And second is we also gain weight to ground ourselves. Many people who lack grounding, they do that. And third aspect is certain emotions. They try to hide, they push it away. Whenever sadness is there, they eat more food than what is required. Through that, they swallow all those emotions. It's also one defense mechanism we learn at a very younger age. So that's what, Madhuji, thank you. And I think all thanks to all of you for expressing. I think Vijay Lakshmi Goyal is also, she's staying now in Austria because she could not come back to India. So I wish you, we all wish you a good meditation in Austria. And because last 1 month she's staying there. It's wonderful that you are joining every day, Vijay Lakshmi ji. Thank you. So, dear friends, I think it's nice that we can end the session. I think many of the friends are expressing the joy. I wish, hope, and trust that my calling to experience inner child work with LU will be reality in divine timing. Thank you for amazing soul work. Yes, Mariana ji, thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Most welcome. So, dear friends, we are again going to meet day after tomorrow with another topic. So I wish you good meditation and spiritual growth. Meditate, stay at home, and celebrate your life. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone.